Welcome back to the Sleeper Sports Media podcast. I'm not alone for once. I'm joined here with Hunter, aka Apples and Grapes Media. How's it going, Hunter?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Since it's your first time on, my show, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, no, absolutely. My name is Hunter. I run Apples and Grapes Media. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, or X, also Instagram. Just search Apples and Grapes Media. We like to cover different news in pro wrestling, also MMA, UFC, everything like that. And we do full length interviews as well. We have 10 episodes right now. But yeah,
Awesome. We're gonna cover the Survivor Series War Games massive premium live event from Saturday night.
yes.
Lot to get into and talk about, dissect, and all the news around every part of this event, from returns to the matches to, just everything. So we will get started with the women's War Games match. Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, Becky picking up the win over Damage Control. What were your first thoughts about this one, right? Like from start to finish and choice of winner, everything.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I thought going into it, Damage Control would get the win, so I was a little surprised by that. But yeah, it was a lot of great spots. One of my first favorite spots from that was just EO trash can over her head and jumping off. She's so fun. I don't know how she's still, a heel or whatever, but I think she's has babyface written all over her.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a video I saw of them coming into the crowd or making their way to the ring, and she was going to high five fans, but then like faking them out and everything. And the comments were like, "She's trying so hard not to be a babyface right now."
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the trash can spot was vintage EO, as Michael Cole would say, for Randy Orton. But great. I love the start with the women's war match, the War
mm,
Games match. The the way they gave the advantage, I thought was a little weird. How they had the vote with Ruffles, and it was
yeah,
just a big sponsorship thing.
right.
But I went 5-0 through for the card, got
Mm,
all the matches right. Figured that the way Damage Control is going, they're going to turn on Bayley, they're going to
mm,
kick her out the group, and what better way to do it than with Becky Lynch putting her through table, getting the win, getting the pin. Um,
yep,
my big takeaways from the match was Charlotte and Becky reuniting, hugging it out, the pinky
yes,
promise, the tea, everything on top of the cage, all of it.
yeah,
Um, they're back. We've talked a little bit about it earlier. The women's tag titles.
yes.
Those two with a run at the tag titles is going to be awesome. It's going to
Mhm.
give much needed relevance back to those titles, and then eventually maybe a Sasha Banks return and
Mm,
the Four Horsewomen main event WrestleMania for the
yeah.
tag titles.
Yeah, that Sasha Banks rumors are already starting. I don't know if it was a tweet or Instagram, some type of post about she'll be return in ring in like January, I think, but didn't say
Yep.
where. So a lot of people
Yeah.
are, skeptical about where she'll end up. But I mean, I'd love to see her back. Of course, we've already had, a few great returns this year and even just this past weekend. But that would be cool to see. Another spot I really enjoyed was Charlotte's moonsault off the
Yes.
cage onto
Yes.
pretty much all of Damage Control.
Yes.
That was awesome too. That was a big moment in the match. But yeah,
Yes.
those women's titles, they got to do something a little better with those. Those are kind of been rough to endure the last few months.
Oh, it's been, the last few years since
Yeah.
the Thunderdome era, when Sasha and Bayley had them, and that was the last time I enjoyed watching anything that had to do with the women's tag titles.
Right.
Um, yeah, the press conference, Charlotte said that how to she said, "How do we top last year's match?" She goes, "This is my first time in War Games, and I have to do a moonsault off the top of the
Mm,
cage." That was
right.
one thing she wanted to do, and then they Becky and Charlotte got asked right away if we're going to see a run with them with the tag titles, and they said we'll get there.
Mm,
So hopefully that happens. But
yeah.
yeah, great start to the match, to the card, to the event. This one went 33 minutes, and
Wow.
then we get into the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther and Miz.
Sure.
This one only went about 12 and a half. I think this one could have went longer. They could have given the middle matches another 10 minutes each. The middle three matches felt like they went so fast to me. But what are your thoughts on Miz and Gunther, and
Yeah.
any sight to Gunther losing that title anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, I don't think. The one thing I did note here is that like Miz made Gunther look human a little bit, which we don't often see, especially not on the Raw matches. A little bit with the Chad Gable stuff, but not too much. Miz felt like he was in control the whole time, but there were a couple spots they gave Miz like a little comeback. You know, he got the one
Yep.
close near fall towards the end there, but he made Gunther look human a little bit. Um, but yeah, that was a great match. Also, I feel like it could have gone, 5, 10 more minutes as well, easily.
Yeah. It was I enjoyed it. I'm not really the biggest Gunther fan. I mean, Michael Cole, I love the way he was giving that extra, energy and calling the match and
Yeah.
making us think, okay, Miz maybe, like you said, making him look human and maybe he has a chance. But again, I mean, another 10 minutes and it would have been, an instant classic and a banger and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gunther retaining, I had that. And yeah, I mean, Roman's going with a lengthy title reign. Seth is, I mean, potential, I guess, to drop that title soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, Gunther, the Miz, good. I mean, good stuff. It did what it needed to do, and I'm excited for what's next for both of them.
Yeah.
Um, Miz kind of with that the a baby face type feel. The
Yes.
go home episode of Raw, the crowd was booing Gunther and
Mhm.
cheering for Miz,
Yeah.
babyface Miz. I mean,
Yeah.
how long does that last?
Right. Yeah. It seemed like he got the reaction, the little bit of turn he was looking for. I still prefer him as a heel just because he plays great to that kind of
Yeah.
snobby, uppity swagger, so to speak. But it
Yep.
was cool. It was a different, I think, they made the turn just for the matchup, but it was great to see. People forget how big Miz is, I think. It's like
Yeah.
Gunther didn't completely look like he was overpowering him or anything like
Yeah.
that. But that was a great matchup. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was a good second match, and it led into what was, I mean, my bathroom break match of the night, because like, I mean, this was, Santos and Carlito, and then all of a sudden Carlito gets hurt on SmackDown and
Yeah.
taken out by Santos, and then all of a sudden Dragon Lee's in the match. It was a good match. This is not my style of wrestling, but I
Mhm.
mean, Dragon Lee, this is his first main event, premium live event match. So,
Yes.
I mean, good for him. They keep saying that he's going to be the future of, the lucha side of WWE. And this
Mhm.
is Triple H's way to build and show that they're going to build, lucha style wrestlers, and also Shinsuke and the Japanese style, and
Yeah.
bring in more of that caliber talent.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
solid match overall.
personally, I'm a big Axiom fan. So, it always kind of felt like Dragon Lee versus Axiom as far as a push for that kind of guy. But Dragon Lee's growing on me. Both their gear was awesome. I had to make a
Yeah.
note of that. They had awesome outfits on, but yeah, matchup wise, I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of spots. There's a lot of turnbuckle action. I think Dragon Lee had a really nice sit down power bomb at one point, and then Santos immediately afterwards gets the two finishers, and it was over, but it was intense. I think the way Santos was ripping at Dragon Lee's mask, that
Yeah.
looked really vicious. And, I'm like, is he going to get it off? It's like, if that would have been maybe classic lucha, you could do, mask versus hair
Yeah.
for that matchup. I didn't know if they wanted to go that extreme, necessarily, but I enjoyed the matchup. I thought it was pretty good. I would have liked to see Carlito in there, but I get it. They're trying to push, these up and coming guys. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way they did, they took Carlito out of the match and said he was hurt and couldn't go, and then they were
Yeah.
going to cancel it, and then Dragon Lee, of course, came in and said, "No, I'll go, I'll step in."
Right.
So it's given him that that feel good moment, and I mean, I can't believe this one only went 7 minutes and 40 seconds. I mean, it
Yeah.
could have given 10 more minutes to this one, just like the last one. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a good match for, not being my style, but it's still a good match. So can't
Yeah.
complain overall through the whole entire card. I mean,
Right. No, it was thorough throughout for sure.
going on to the next one, the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Zoey Stark. Event.
Sure.
Rhea seems to be untouchable. I mean,
Right.
um, good for Zoey to get the shot and show that she can hang, but ultimately she didn't win.
Right.
Mommy's always on top.
Of course, yeah. I don't know if anybody had Zoe winning that one, but
No,
but yeah, I mean, it's showing, Rhea's dominance and it's continuing to build her. I always forget she only won the title at Mania, so it hasn't only
yeah,
been a few months. So it's
yeah,
like it feels like she's been dominant for years, just about already, but it's
yeah.
only been a few short months. And it's like knowing now, I wanted to bring this up and ask you your thoughts, but Elimination Chamber in Perth, it's like they can't have her not be the champion going into that, right? So we have to at least expect her to go through the Rumble and, so she's going to be there for sure. She's going to be I mean, they say multiple main event matches now, so I don't know if she'll
Yeah,
be the final one, but she'll
yeah.
be involved. I was going to ask if you had any idea of it's months away of like a matchup. I feel like she deserves like a proper feud, whether that's Jade or Raquel again or Liv comes back. I don't know. All the girls get injured so much, it's hard to keep track, but yeah, just Perth and all that. I can't imagine she drops the title anytime soon.
Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, I love Indy, so I like that answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Going out of the Rumble, they have saw a report that they're going to use the next 2 months to build towards the Rumble, and then like you have, like you said, Jade. Triple H, he did say that we won't see her in the ring until she's ready, and he
Mm.
kind of took a shot at AEW. But if
Yeah,
saying that not to a fault of her own, she wasn't trained the best, I guess, is what he was getting at. But
mhm.
I you got to think Jade Rumble. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, that'd be my guess at this point. Like as in I wouldn't be surprised, but who knows? It's so they book the women a little bit random sometimes it feels like, but
yeah,
if they can build these superstars up to that point, I don't see, why not somebody shouldn't emerge. And I just feel like Rhea deserves a proper feud. They're not necessarily squash matches a lot of the time, but
yeah,
I feel like that.
yeah,
But
yeah. The Natalia one was kind of like, what are we doing? It's just kind of like
yeah,
okay, here's what we're gonna do for now, and then it ended up being Shayna one and done, and then the fatal five way or whatever it was, and it just,
yeah,
like you said, a proper feud is going to be refreshing for Rhea.
yeah,
Um, the stuff she's doing within the Judgment Day is still great. She's still being used
for
well.
sure. Yeah.
Her and Dom Dom, awesome.
Yeah. It was
Michael
hilarious.
Cole,
I don't mean to fast forward too much, but when
yeah,
she brought the briefcase out, I don't know if you noticed, Dom was like, "Mommy," and got super excited like a little kid. It was so funny, like because it only called him for a split second, but he was just happy for her to come out. It's funny. He's just always ready, to be in character, of course, but
yeah.
even little moments like that, he, is like prepared for it. So good to see.
I missed that one, but I was gonna say about Michael Cole whenever Dom was about to come out, and before they even showed him in the timer, the crowd was chanting "Dom, you suck," and then the timer went down, and then the cage opened, and Michael Cole said that's the most time he spent behind bars this year.
Yep.
It
I
was,
did catch that. That was hilarious because
yeah, it just uh, that whole thing has been awesome, and Dom is really coming to his own person, his
yeah.
own character, everything. He's gotten away from Rey Mysterio's son,
Mhm.
while still taking shots at Rey Mysterio with the action figure in the locker room with the little
Yeah.
sign that says "I'm a that was great.
Yeah, the subtle
Um,
things like that, it's like, you wonder how much is planned or if he's just like, "Boom, pop it on there because it's funny."
yeah,
Like, if it's improv, it's even better. It's
yeah,
so he's great. Yeah, it's great to see him come into his own. It's still so funny though, like, I forget what spot it was, but he, like, had, like, a scared look on his face during the War Games, and he still looks like such a young kid, but he's, like, maturing before our eyes.
yeah. It. it's I've become a big fan of Dom, and especially if we get a tag team of Logan Paul and Dom. I mean, the
Yeah.
the the attempts at the promos, I'm not even going to say promos because they're going to just get booed right out of the arena. They're not going to be able to talk.
Yeah.
But the attempts at the promos are going to be great. And then, I mean, maybe they do like a little Logan tries to flirt with Rhea, kind of like they're doing with Jay,
Oh
and
yeah.
then Dom. It just the possibilities are endless. But
Yeah. Even if it's just one match, them teaming together just because
oh
they do
yeah,
seem like legitimate buddies, whether
yeah,
they hang out or not, they're always shouting each other out, the UFC
yeah.
event and
That was
everything like
great.
that, spelling each
And
other's name wrong on purpose, like
I I was just about to say that. I was just about to say
yeah.
that. That was everything about that with Logan and the U.S.
Yeah,
championship. I mean, him taking it everywhere and
everywhere.
doing exactly what he would do. Um, and like they said on Impulsive, I mean, WWE is getting their their return on investment in Logan Paul, getting their name and brand and logo out in the world and
Yeah.
across all social media.
Yeah.
I mean, as a big Logan Paul fan, 3 or 4 years ago or 3 years ago at WrestleMania 37, whenever they first talked about bringing him in at Crown Jewel, and
Mhm.
Miz said, "I'm bringing a superstar, a massive superstar in to Raw next," and then I never in a million years would I have thought Logan Paul W. It's still crazy to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure he caught a lot of heat, like, right away, just the
Oh yeah,
outsider thing,
oh
but
yeah,
any interviews you see now, if not now that he's been in it a few months, it's like he's earned the locker room's respect
oh yeah.
100%.
I
He's
mean,
such an athlete, it's like
yeah,
there's being an athlete, and then there's also, like, learning the game, and it seems like he has the raw ability for it, and then is also, honing
yes.
his blade in a sense.
Yes, he. I mean, eight matches in, and or 8 or 9 matches in. I think because I saw Kurt Angle said he won the U.S. title on his eighth match, and Kurt won the Intercontinental title on in his ninth match. So he
Wow.
was comparing the two, and I mean, just you hear it, the respect given to Logan from all legends of that level, with Kurt Angle being one of them, and just
Yeah.
I mean the respect is being earned. And he said on Impulsive he wants to get to the PC more and put more into this and do
Mhm.
even more crazy, high flying Mick Foley off the cell
Yeah.
type
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. Mhm. And then just
Um,
back to, like, the United States title thing, it's like, that's the Prime model. It's like they don't spend money on commercials for Prime, he just carries it everywhere,
yep, yep,
and so he's doing the same exact model with the US title as the Prime, and it's
yeah,
brilliant. They said whatever, $1.3 billion in revenue, and something's working, obviously, so he's just
yeah,
gonna take that, and he's like you said, Triple H is
yep,
giving him that credit for, maybe getting some eyeballs that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
yep, yeah. Speaking of the off the cage, we go to the main event, which there is a lot to talk about around this whole entire thing. I mean, the match went
Yes.
34 and a half minutes, or 34, almost 35 minutes.
Mhm.
Um, Team Cody or Team Yeet, as I saw a sign that said Team Yeet,
Oh, that's
picks
funny.
pick, picks up the win.
Yes.
I mean, everything about this I thought went perfect. From them teasing Randy not showing up, building the tension with Jay, saying it's his
Yeah.
fault, um, and then Cody and Seth having a moment, doing the handshake, and
Yep.
just like Charlotte and Becky gave the nod at the beginning, and then
Mhm.
um, even like a little cool guy hug at the end. Just
Yeah.
everything about it. The way Randy came out after Rhea with the briefcase and
Yeah.
everything, and
I s
then
Mhm.
yeah, just everything. I mean, the RKO off the cage, the you know
Ridiculous.
vintage Orton, Dom getting the first RKO,
Yeah.
and
That was
then
awesome.
the whole team doing the vintage Orton as Michael Cole on the call. Vintage War Games, I thought
Yeah.
was awesome. But yeah, your thoughts on the main event?
But just the way they came out and everything was, like, perfect. Just every aspect of it was, like, there were so many layers, and then
Yeah,
back to some of the Randy and Jay stuff where he act like he was gonna, He like,
Yeah.
his little crouch thing on the
Yep.
canvas, and then they
Yep.
kind of look at each other, and then
And
it's
then
like,
Jay took the hit for
yes,
him. Yep.
yeah, that was awesome. So it's like you have to wonder if that's good enough, if that's going to squash that, or if there'll still be some, rumblings of Randy, turning on Jay or what have you. But it was good to see Jay save him, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, ton of great spots in that. Like you said, the RKO off the top. Glad JD took that one. But yeah, so Dom was probably okay with like the first one. He's like, I don't want to do it off the cage though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, ton of great spots and everything involved. But yeah, like there was like a little preview in it when they were wondering if Randy was going to come out still, and like Seth is asking Cody, is he coming?
Yeah.
Now it'd be kind of funny to wonder if he was asking about, who, Mr. CM Punk. So you can kind of spin it like, oh, is he coming? And then to have how Seth reacted afterwards, it's a fun little side way to take it if you want to.
Yeah. I was thinking of they could, do it that way I was like, would they really have Punk be the one to come in? And then, like I said, I saw someone posted a picture of backstage of a poster, um, with the teams for War Games on it, and LA Knight was beside Cody. So everyone immediately thought LA Knight's going to be the one to step in. LA
Mm,
Knight, it's going to be LA Knight, it's going to be LA Knight. And
yeah,
then I was like, no, I mean, they said Randy Orton. They didn't really say it. Cody didn't say it, but WWE said it. It was going to be Orton.
right.
Um, I mean, yeah, just the way he came out and did it, I thought, okay, I kept seeing people say they should do it like how Kevin Owens did it whenever he
Mm,
came out in War Games, and they
yeah.
waited till the last minute and then he came out,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
how
no,
they how they
I
did
saw
it. But
somebody posted that they predicted like Randy would get his own entrance somehow, and that was the perfect
yeah,
way to do it because the music cuts, interrupts the cash in, that never goes through. But yeah, that was a great way to do it for him to get his own special moment within the match.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I saw. I'm surprised I didn't see it sooner, but I saw it was a meme of it was the kid being held up in the pool, and then a kid that's like struggling to stay above the water, and then it's the
Mm.
skeleton at the bottom, and it said it was the one being held was CM Punk, and then Randy Orton was the one struggling, and then R-Truth was the one at the bottom,
Oh,
which we forgot about the biggest return, as
yeah.
Triple H said.
How could we?
R-Truth and Alpha Academy finally pretty deadly does something that I don't find annoying.
Yeah,
Um,
they were
being
funny. That
involved in
kind of,
that.
yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, R-Truth coming back, Randy coming back, and then of
Yeah,
course the actual big return is CM Punk is actually back in
yeah,
WWE after 10 or 9 years.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen.
yeah.
Once I saw the copyright logo, I'm like, that's really it. It's
Mhm.
really it.
Yeah.
And then you know it
Yeah.
hit, and
Static.
every time I watch any of the videos, instant chills, goosebumps. I mean, every single time.
Yeah.
But
It's funny for me because, okay, I think people know I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan. I don't know, but like I could feel that moment. Obviously, it was huge, and I watched like the PO. There was like a POV like of a kid who was there, and he's like watching it, and he's like mouthing Cody's song because it was playing that towards the
I
end,
I
and
saw
then
the
him
same
just
one.
absolutely flipping out, and like I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, and I barely like the guy, like
Yeah.
like so I understood the moment, of course, and it's funny because I saw another tweet or post, somebody saying it like it feels now like we have enough stars, like the biggest problem during the Attitude Era, which was a good problem to have, is too many stars, right?
Right.
So like CM Punk, Cody, Jay, all these baby faces. And if you look at it, there's only one like babyface champ, right? And it's just Seth. Everybody else, you got Gunther, Logan, Roman,
Yeah.
of course. So it's like
Io.
this abundance of star power now. It's just gonna be interesting to see where it goes because Roman obviously still feels like the guy, and he has SmackDown,
Yep.
but Raw feels like an all-star show every week now,
Yeah.
or it
It
will.
is. It's gonna be so much fun. That is gonna wrap it up for episode 47 of the Sleeper Sports Media podcast. Follow on all my socials, Sleeper Sports Media. You'll find it.